To start burning, a rocket motor needs heat and pressure, and a good igniter should create both of those things as quickly as possible. You can light fairly large rocket motors with something as simple as an E-match. These devices use a little nichrome bridge wire across two sides of a PCB and then a small amount of pyrogen on the tip. If the E-match is placed right against the solid propellant surface, it might start lighting, but there are many times where it won't. Ammonium perchlorate composite propellant was developed in the 1950s by the US military as a safer alternative to double-base propellants like nitroglycerin. We don't typically think of solid motors as a safe option because they cannot be shut off, but they are also kind of hard to light. In some cases, you can hold a low-power lighter up to solid rocket fuel and nothing will happen. Do not try that, by the way. Sometimes it does light. Do not try that. All of this is to say we need a good igniter if we want to light large motors. In my motors, I use a pyrogen compound that is similar to what's used for chaff on fighter jets to distract incoming missiles. This stuff is used on fighter jets because it emits a crazy amount of heat which confuses the IR seeker on an incoming missile, and I use it in rocket motors for about the same reason. It dumps a ton of heat really fast into the propellant. This becomes especially important when the rocket is at high altitude where there's not much pressure to help the combustion process. Many rocket motors also use a burst disc in the nozzle to help build that pressure within the motor to start the ignition process. The final and most important part of a good igniter is an igniter that can't fall out of the motor. That's why I use something called HEI, or head-end ignition. As the motor comes up to pressure, it really wants to spit out anything inside. So by placing this pyrogen and igniter setup on a bolt that cannot fall out of the motor, we ensure that whatever happens with the igniter is held within the motor until the motor is lit.